Good afternoon, students. Today we are starting a class on 18 FT 504 Quality Assurance in Garment Production. Now, in the previous classes, students, we have discussed about quality on this particular unit, and we have seen the different dimensions of quality. We have seen different types of inspection which is used in the garment industry. Then we have seen the types of inspection. Quality control and quality assurance seems to be similar in nature, but we have tried to understand what is quality control and what is quality assurance. So today we will start with a new topic of quality, that is called statistical control of quality. And in that we will talk about 7 QC tools. Now, quality control tools, this is very important in the garment industry to really understand that how the quality parameters can be evaluated objectively. Now, when you are talking, it is an objective way of expressing different types of quality parameters. Then statistical ways are also there to represent them in the form of bar chart, in the form of pie chart, in the form of different type of graphs and different types of diagrams also. Okay, so that is the way we express 7 QC tools. So that is the point of discussion today, in which we will talk about different benefits of 7 QC tools. We will also talk about the importance of it and also description of different QC tools. If anybody wants to apply those tools, what are the things this to be done in the graph paper or in the way how to interpret those kind of tools, etc. So let us, students, start with these 7 QC tools. So you can see in the image that different graphs are there, bars are there. Okay, so this is the way of presenting a group of data which are coming in from this garment industry, different processes, and those kind of data are to be analyzed by using some statistical tool, and those tools are called 7 QC tools. Now, statistical way, when you are talking different QC tools, then statistical measurements are also there. Okay, but is it the very kind of complicated measurements, or it is a very simple way of measurement? Normally, when you are talking about the statistics, we talk about various kind of models, various kinds of interpretation methods. Okay, and those methods are really a little bit of complicated in nature. But these 7 QC tools, unique thing of these tools are that this can be applied very easily, and that's why in the garment industry or apparel industry it is very well accepted. Laymen can also do the analysis by using these tools. Such a simple way and simple methods are there. That's why those methods are very popular, the 7 QC tools. Let us see one by one also what are those tools and understand their benefits also. Now, when you are talking about QC tools, there may be, as I already mentioned, there may be charts are there. Those charts will be used to solve the problem. It is a pictorial representations basically, and by seeing that pictorial representations, one can really understand that which way the production goes, which way the defect goes, and where to really pinpoint and to solve this problem. So that is the 7 quality control tools. Okay, very important tools to remember in the garment industry, and this consists of as we are seeing in the image, the flow charts are there, check sheets are there, Pareto charts are there, cause and effect diagrams are there, then control charts are there, histograms, scattered diagrams. So different techniques are there. So students, by using these techniques, actually we can understand. For example, number of defects in the garment. So defect concentration zone, in a particular day some defects are more. Okay. Then in this fashion, different processes also. Some defects are coming, those are coming from which machines, that also can be analyzed here. Like some defective products have been formed, so those defective products, how these products have been formed, from where is the origin of those defects. So if we get such kind of idea from this kind of tools or statistical method, we can easily take a decision on it, okay, that which way we should approach and how we will solve the problem. Our main aim here is to produce the quality goods. So by using these techniques, several quality control tools, we can really do this job. So there must be that some benefits are associated with these quality control tools, and these tools are very popular, that's why in the industry. Let us see what are the importance of such kind of activity. So importance means the troubleshooting, okay. So any kind of machine related problems are there, defects are arising from the machines, okay. Then production is going on and there is some problem in the production. Okay. Different kinds of troubleshootings are there in the garment industry. So this kind of measurement, statistical quality control tool, is a very good tool to understand. Like I am telling an example of garment industry where 10 different lines are operating, okay, in a medium size garment industry. So one of them is giving very poor quality of goods. You can easily identify by seeing the chart, quality control chart, by which you can understand that which line is giving you the problem. So you can concentrate into that line, and then really the defects can be really removed, and then that particular area can be improved and come to the normal level. So that is the way actually the troubleshooting goes. These 7 quality control tools also tells about where the defects are, okay, from which process the defects are coming. Then it is easy to solve that how the defects can be really tackled. So tackling of the defects by these statistical quality control tools is one of the important chapter of discussion in the troubleshooting. So it may be a maintenance of the machine, it may be a product related, it may be a process related, it may be a human being related. So all these things are important here. Now students, can you identify this kind of activities when it is there? What is this activity? This is also the data analysis. You see, different way, a data analysis, manager is sitting there in front of a particular screen. Now production is running. By seeing that trend, he can understand which way the production is running. Okay, what is the trend of production, or any defects are coming. So defects are coming from where? Which type of defects are more? So all this analysis can be done through a monitoring screen kind of thing. So that data analysis, that's why, is very important. So quality control tools gives this idea that how this data, what we are getting from different machine or processes are really effective in analyzing and really producing some good quality garment. And of course, if you produce good quality garment, customer will be satisfaction will be there, customer satisfaction level will be high, okay, when quality level is high, and of course the profitability also will increase into that. So a lot of tools that are there in statistical way. If you really analyze, you can get all these ideas how to produce a good quality. That is the point of discussion. So here different charts are there, some diagrams are there, graphs are there, okay. So in that fashion, one can really analyze the data. Instead of going into the actual data, it is really a painful exercise for the eye. If you see all the data and all this in numeric numbers and all these things, very difficult to judge, like a year or in a month data if you want to analyze. So graphical technique is the most important technique for that. So that is the way actually the statistical technique goes. Now students, we will see more to it, the importance of quality when you are talking about this. So what is that? Now we can also get the continuous quality control over this. If we apply this statistical quality control technique, okay, then there is a particular flow by which you can plan one activity, then we can improve that activity and then assess the activity. So in that fashion, that planning, improvement and assessment, these three things are very important in continuous quality control, okay. So planning of quality is important, improvement is quality of improvement, and then assessment of the quality is also required, by which you can really assess that which direction the quality is going. So that is the quality control, okay. Plan a particular process or product, then do the improvement and then assess the product, go for further improvement, plan for further improvement. So that is the continuous quality assessment. Students, what is this figure? The benefits, if you try to understand. So identification and analyze problem in the process. So that needs to be done correctly. Problem first must be identified and then analysis can be done. So 7 QC tools help in this process also. Identification and analyze the problems. So this is a part and parcel of the garment industry. The problems will come, you have to identify the problem and analyze the problem, okay. So that is the way the industry goes. Next point of benefits, if you try to see, is that it is also a particular way how we tackle the problem. That is the determining the root causes of the problems, okay. Sometimes we take a decision based on the surface, okay, surface activities, but what is the root cause of this problem? So that can really be identified by using these 7 QC tools, okay. So that is the way actually these QC tools are really beneficial for us, okay. So effects will be there, effect in the form of garment quality, different types of finishes or different types of defects, different types of product related defects or different kinds of process related defects will be there in that, and the core problem will be there from where these defects are coming. But if one try to analyze these problems effectively, then they have to go deep into the problem, from where it comes, whether it is coming from the raw material, whether it is coming from the initial processing itself. So that root cause analysis also helps through this 7 QC tools, okay. What are these things? This is also another benefit, students. It is a teamwork. You see that this encourages the teamwork and confidence. When you apply some tools kind of thing to determine the quality, you can easily understand. But for that, the involvement of each and every workforce is required to understand that which way that production goes, why this kind of defects are coming. So all these things coming under the teamwork. Okay, individually one cannot do it, but a team can really do the wonder. And when such kind of good quality product is produced from a particular factory by using such kind of statistical tools, then the people will get the confidence. The people who are working there, they will get the confidence out of it. Okay, so those are the benefits associated with the 7 quality control tools. So teamwork is very, very important in this kind of 7 QC tools, and that's why the benefit is associated with it. I was talking about customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction comes really from good quality. When by using certain techniques you are producing a good quality product, then customer will definitely be satisfied. So this is also coming under the benefits of 7 QC tools, and it enhances the customer satisfaction level because you are continuously producing good quality and which is desired by the customer. There are no defects in it, and as per the specifications the products are produced, okay, by using some statistical technique. So customer is happy. So customer satisfaction is also another benefit of 7 QC tools. Students, what is this product quality? What do you mean by this? This is also one of the benefits of 7 QC tools, that improve the quality of the product, which I am really emphasizing on this topic, that why we are going to use statistical quality control tools. What is the benefit out of it? That is the first question. So benefit is here. You are improving the quality of the product. That is the benefit out of it. So you are analyzing that in between processes what is happening. If anything problematic things are there, you are solving those in that area also. If any defective materials are coming out, you are immediately identifying and root cause analysis you are making. So you are ultimately producing a good product, good quality product as per the specifications of the buyer. Now buyer specification also is very important here, because you cannot produce a good quality, and this quality term is a very subjective term. You have to compare that with certain norms, certain regulations, or certain kind of benchmark has been given here, and you have to compare and find that whether my product is of good quality or it is of bad quality, okay, or intermediate quality. So that is the way quality goes. So 7 QC tools also gives this kind of benefit, improvement in the quality of the final product. This when getting improved, so customer satisfaction obviously will improve in this way, and you will get more orders, and when you will get more orders, the actual profit margin will increase. People will be happy inside the organizations also. So those kind of loyalty of the customers will increase if you also use these 7 QC tools. Now there is another good benefit is there on this topic of 7 QC tools. Students, can you identify this figure? This is also coming under one of the benefits. What is that benefit? Now I was talking about the improvement, okay. When you are applying certain statistical technique, okay, then you will do the improvement. These QC tools will really suggest the area of improvement, where this improvement actually is required, okay. Now there are a lot of examples are there, like I was talking about different production lines and all these things. So where 10 production lines are running. So by these statistical quality control tools, by doing this analysis, quality control chart analysis, you can really understand which line some problems are there, okay, which line some critical products are forming. We have to take some immediate action to it. So those kind of areas are really the areas of improvement. That really is one of the real benefits of 7QC tools. So area of improvement, which area I need to improve upon. So that is also suggested by the 7QC tools. So you can understand, students, now that these are the wonderful tools by which you can really understand the process, you can really understand the product, and you can really produce a good quality from this kind of applications. Your root cause analysis is one of the major area by which you really detect the fault at the very early stage and take some immediate measures so that those kind of defects will not arise in the next processes, and we will save time and labor also into this, and ultimately your productivity also will increase due to that. So these are the different benefits and what are the real importance of 7 quality tools that we have explained. Now we will see what are those techniques. Now one of the technique, this technique is stratification. This is called stratification, or also it is called divide and conquer rules. These divide and conquer rules are applicable in the garment industry also. Let us see how it works. Stratification of data. You can see a kind of graphical representation. This is not related to garments, but it is related to the iron ore company. Okay, so it is a kind of combination of different things are happening. The reactors are there. 3 reactors are producing certain iron. Okay, ppm is the unit of that production, and purity level also is there. Now different reactors are producing iron ore kind of thing in this, and we try to understand in this stratification the purity versus iron. Okay. Now in this it is seen that one of the reactor, okay, the purity level, how it is, the data says that reactor 1, reactor 2 and reactor 3, how the data actually can be stratified. Okay, is there any real kind of trend is there or not? So one of the trend is found in this. Okay, so you can really see the images, and then you can stratify your data to understand the percentage purity level, whether you can judge it in a nice way. Okay, so you can really understand when the ppm level of this iron is increasing, percentage purity, how it is. Okay, so that is the way you can really understand that in which trend actually is getting followed here. Next process is called the histogram. Histogram is a very well known technique because it distributes the data, the numerical data, in a graphical form. How? Lot of data are there in front, and from there you will just produce that frequency, get the frequency out of it. Okay, and then those frequencies are really plotted in the graph paper. It is similar to the bar graph also, by which one can take a decisions on this. Okay, which area actually we need to tackle. That is the way actually this histogram goes. For an example, the marks have been given 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15 in this fashion, and how we will group this data. So that is the point of discussions in the histogram. So grouping of the data, like number of elements are there, range of 40 to 100. There are various ranges are there produced, 10, 20, 30. That is not the countable one. But if you try to find only 40 or 100, you can really find it out from there, okay, in this range. So that grouping of the data and putting it into this graphical form, the histogram takes a major step into it. Like a defects in the garment, that also can be analyzed by using the histogram. So which month the defects were more in the industry, that also one can really analyze by these histograms, okay. So specified ranges are also can be calculated, and what type of defects are there. The frequency of the defects can also be identified by this. Now students, can you tell what is this particular photographs? Now this is called a check sheet. What do you mean by a check sheet? Now we will see that, but first we may remember that check sheet is also called a tally sheet. It collects data, in real time data it collects. Now some observations are there, so one can use this check sheet, okay. Now what are the benefits and how it is getting benefited, that we will see. So check sheets are there, quantitative or qualitative way the check sheets can be used, okay. So qualitative measurement, you can see that the bulb examples have been given, and also quantitative, that measurements kind of thing is there. So intensity, okay, intensity of the bulb, it is a kind of qualitative measurement, how it really emits the light at different areas kind of thing. But quantitative, yes, it can be measurement kind of thing. So qualitative data and quantitative data can be classified by this sheet, okay. And quantitative data, when it is classified, it is often called as the tally sheets, okay. So this is the examples. So tally sheets examples are there before you. So it can be given the particular kind of different areas, you can really group the data in that fashion. For an example, telephone interruptions, if you see at different days, so that telephone interruptions, if you put the tally sheet kind of thing, so you can see the wrong numbers, how many wrong numbers were there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to up to Friday. So you can really see that how many wrong numbers were there. Then info request, how many were there in telephone, okay, 10 numbers. Boss, how many times called kind of thing, 19. So total how many are there. So where frequency is more, which date the frequencies are more. So all these things can be really identified by means of the check sheet. Check sheet also can classify or data can be analyzed. Bar symbol is used to represent the data. Some bars are also can be used. So check sheets, you can see that different kind of marking is there in the check sheet by which you are counting the data and grouping them in the right directions. Tick marks also used in this, where the collected data over several weeks can be really classified under this check sheet. So these are the ways these check sheets are working. Now student, can you see that what is this type of figure here in this particular slide? This is nothing but a fish, you know, and the skeleton of the fish, the bones of the fish. So bones of the fish is shown here. That's why this particular tool is called the fish bone diagram. But why it is so useful? Let us see. This fish bone diagram is also called as Ishikawa diagram, and it looks like a fish skeleton. What it does actually, okay. So problems which are there as a problem, we are trying to analyze in the head form of that fish, and the process is the spine. Different types of processes are there. Suppose So the spines will talk about those processes. So it is a skeleton like things, and how it is getting classified, that is shown here, and it used to track. Then imperfections can be also depicted here, defects can also be there in the fish diagram. So there are variations and all these things can also be there. So these are the particular forms of fishbone structure or fishbone diagram. Now you can do the analysis, and also the brainstorming session can be done by using this fishbone diagram. It is simple but effective. Okay. So suppose a product is formed and there are certain problems in the product. So we will try to analyze the material, people, method, all these things, and then subtopics are getting formed from there. So in this fashion, ultimately we will come to know that what is the main reason of this kind of defect, and this defect actually has been formed from which machine or which process or all other things, and ultimately then when you will really know from where the problem has come, then really it talks about the solution also, what we need to do. So fishbone diagram really, it is, that's why it is also called the cause and effect diagram. Okay. So what are the cause, and for that cause actually what has been generated, what has been produced, that is the effect of that diagram. So cause and effect diagram is very important tool in statistical way to represent that quality and how to improve the quality, how to improve the defect. Okay, this is a very scientific way of doing this analysis, and lot of brainstorming session, meetings and all these things people are doing by using this particular method. Okay, so that is called the fishbone diagram. Now students, are you really in this fishbone diagram? Have you understood this fishbone diagram? So now in the apparel industry, suppose if you want to really apply this fishbone diagram, you can really apply, because suppose a garment is produced and garment is produced with a defect. Okay, so one can easily call different departments and then discuss in a group meeting, and ultimately you will come to know for what reason many of the garment problems are arising out of the fabric. Okay, so suppose a particular garment has been produced, and in that garment the quality is not properly addressed. Okay, some GSM problem is there, suppose in that garment. Okay, so people try to understand the yarn quality, okay, then fabric quality. So all these things need to be addressed there in that cause and effect diagram. So when GSM is less, must be some other reasons are also there in the particular area of technical areas, where yarn also plays an important role to it, and how it has been produced. Okay, what is the ends per inch, picks per inch, or wells per inch, course per inch, whether it is properly maintained or not. All these things are getting analyzed by this fishbone diagram. So it is an important tool, and that's why it is also called as cause and effect diagram. Okay, so let us see also that the fishbone diagram, how it is effective between the outcome and the influence. Okay, outcome is the product and influence is different other kind of processes. Like garment is producing, I am telling garment is a product or the outcome, and who are the influencer in this? Influencer is the fabric inspection is the influencer, then fabric cutting division is also the influencer. Okay, then sewing department is the influencer, then also the pressing department or the finishing department is also there. So influence and the outcome, both things are taking into account in fishbone diagram, and ultimately we get a relationship between these two. Okay, so in the fishbone diagram it talks about that. So effects are there and different causes are there, how it is getting formed, how this defect has been generated. So there may be the multiple defects or multiple areas where this can be improved. Okay, that also can be really analyzed through this cause and effect diagram. So that is the fishbone diagram. So ultimately you see the general shape, how it has come. So many different sub areas are there, have been formed. Suppose the defect has been formed, you try to analyze the defect from where it has come. So such kind of structure will form in the fishbone diagram. So student, you can understand now the importance of it. This product what is getting formed with certain defects. So there may be possible that not only one defect, okay, many defects may be there in the garment. So many causes also will be there in the garment, or one defect also may have different causes. So that is addressed by the fishbone diagram. So students, do you feel then the fishbone diagram is important tool in the garment industry? I think so, because you can get a lot of benefits out of it. You can really understand that which area we should address upon if you want to get a good quality garment. Let us switch over to a new topic again, or new area of statistical control. Pareto chart is another important area. What is that? This is also called that 80-20 rule. 20% is the effort and 80% is the result. That's why sometimes it is called 80-20 rule also. So 80% is the effect and 20% is the cause. So in this fashion, 80-20 rule has come into the picture in Pareto chart. So this is one of the diagram by which this Pareto chart can be really analyzed, and different kind of line and bar diagram can be made, and we can really understand from where this situation or which particular area we should look into it. Okay. So these are the particular your images or graphical data of different activities by using this Pareto chart. So important decision can be taken, okay, and by using this Pareto chart, and this is also the cumulative sum by line is also formed here in this Pareto chart. So that is the way the quality control tools actually really work. This is also another examples by which minutely, if you see that this Pareto chart gives lot of informations, okay. So informations about not only in the textile industry or the garment industry, but general industry also, it gives a lot of benefits, like a packaging industry kind of thing, products, different types of products industry also it is there. Okay. So that is the way the Pareto chart goes, and it is then narrated in the form of the images or the graphs. Now students, that scattered diagram is a very important tool in QC activities. This is also called Shewhart chart, and pairs of numerical data, when it is there with you, then it will be easy to process under these kind of activities. Scattered diagram, numerical data are there, so we can really understand that what type of correlations are there between the two parameters. Okay. So when defects are more, quality will be decreased. Okay. Or we can see that when if it is there is a seasonal effect. Okay. When the temperature increases, production is getting down. So all these things are there, and there must be some correlation between these. Correlation may be positive correlation, correlation may be a negative correlation, and there may be possibility is there that there is no correlation between this data what we have got. So that is depicted in this figure. And in the scatter diagram also, when we talk about the positive correlations, actually when these two axes, if we really try to understand, then suppose that garment, suppose you are using some lubrications in the garment, okay, lubrication percentage, if you improve, weavability of the garment will improve, okay, garmenting will be faster. So this is called the positive correlations in the scatter diagram. I think students, you have understood this positive correlation now. So in the positive correlation, you can see the effect and cause of it, and by data you can really understand when X increases, Y also increases. So it's a positive correlation. So this can be really applied. It may be a seasonal behavior also, okay, it may be a temperature behavior also, it may be a kind of duration also. So in this fashion you can really come up with some solutions. Huge number of database is there with you, and you can really see some correlation out of it. So that correlation will talk to you that which way the production goes, okay, and which particular season production is really good, which type of people are giving good productions. So all these things can be analyzed by this positive correlation of the scattered diagram, wherein that one variable when increases, other variable also increases. So that is called the positive correlation, okay. Now next one is called also a scattered diagram, but this is an example of negative correlation. Students, what do we mean by the negative correlations? It is just opposite to that. You can see when one variable increases and other variable then decreases, okay. So these kind of figures are also you can achieve in the garment industry. So you have to analyze such kind of defects, production defects or product related defects. You can see this scatter plot where negative correlation has been pointed out. There is another correlation, what we are talking, we call it as a correlation, but there is no correlation at all. The data, all data are really scattered in between two axes, X and Y, and you cannot come up with any kind of conclusion like a positive or negative kind of correlation is there or not. There is no correlation at all between two activities, okay. So that is the way the scatter diagram really depicts, and it gives a lot of good ideas of analyzing different products and processes in the garment industry to improve the quality of the garment. So in the scatter diagram, there may be some cases where no apparent relationship you will find between the variables. So that is also one part of this scatter diagram. So no variations are there. Now an example of the scatter diagram also you can see that this is also taken from iron parts per million purity and parts per million when the production is there. So percentage purity in which block it is more, okay, which quarter it is more, and when parts per million is more, okay, how is the purity level. So that concentration of that particular data in that purity sector you can really identify. This is one of the graph. You can see that when you are talking about strong correlation or the weak correlation kind of thing, sometimes such kind of things may also happen in the garment industry. So when you plot the data, sometimes you may get the strong correlations. So that central line under which this between the different points it passes through, okay. So there is a good correlation between that. So it is a strong correlation. It may be a positive correlations, +1 we can call it as, or a negative correlation, -1 we can call it as, okay. It may be a weak correlation, positive, it may be a negative way, weak kind of correlation. So that is why also it is possible. So these are the ways the scattered diagrams are plotted in a garment factory as a quality control tool. Let us see, students, some other different activities also in this QC tools. One of them is the control chart. Control chart actually is a very useful chart by which you can really identify in which area the production goes wrong and where you have to take the really steps into it, or you have to take certain steps. Maybe you have to stop the production and then you have to take certain steps. So in this fashion, control chart goes. So limits are there in the control chart. What are those limits? There may be some limit which are the upper control limit. There may be some limits which is called the lower control limit. There is a central line for the average into that, and upper control limit and lower control limits are there. In between there is a central line in the control chart. Okay. Now let us see how it looks like and what are the things we may get it out of the control chart. Now when you are talking about the control chart, any kind of manufacturing or business process is in a state of control or not, that can really be understood by plotting this control chart. Business process is running smoothly or not. So that can be really analyzed through this control chart. Now students, you can see this control chart also is really give a particular way of monitoring a certain process. Okay, you can monitor a process by drawing the control chart. How? So this is the way. You see that particular diagram, it gives that there are upper control limits are there in a process. There is a lower control limit is there in the process. In between, that green line talks about the central line, okay, which is the ideal line. The production should be there in that line only. All points should be there on that line only. But in the production point of view, there must be some fluctuations are also there. So those fluctuations, when it reaches a threshold limit, there you have to take the action. It may be in the higher side, it may be in the lower side. So those things are getting analyzed by quality control chart. So this particular chart then gives the indication that where we have to take the real call, or you have to stop the machines, or you have to repair certain things, or you have to modify certain process. So all these things we have to do, and so that the particular product what we are forming, it will not really reaching that upper control limit or the lower control limit. It should be always within these two. So that is the significance of control chart. So students, you can understand, I feel, that what is the meaning of the control chart, wherein the upper control limits will be there and there will be a central line, and then the different plotting points are there, and there is also a lower control limit is there into that. So point levels are there, and there is also the scale through which it has been prepared. So control chart really gives an indication that how a production process is going on, and what are the different types of your area when the we should really look into it when this particular product is reaching the limit. Okay, it may be a lower limit or it may be a upper limit. So it crosses that limit, central line, and it goes into that zone. It is a danger zone, so by which the product quality may suffer. That's why we call it as a danger zone, because if it reaches that particular height, that is upper control height or the lower control height, so production quality will be hampered due to this. That's why those kind of processes then has to be monitored or has to be really taken into consideration, or some rectification process must be done. Now students, that what is this in a particular flowchart form, what has been depicted here, and why it is so important in the garment industry. What benefit we can get from the flowchart? It gives actually the step-by-step flow of operations. So with this, what we get out of it? That is the question. Now if we analyze a flowchart kind of thing, you can really then notice that suppose in a particular area some problems are there. Okay, you can really identify that area where the problem is there. So any kind of production process or anywhere the problem is there, first you have to draw a flowchart, and from the flowchart only you can understand that where the defects are, which process we have to really tackle, so that the flowchart will be perfect into that. This is useful in designing and documenting complex problems. So that is why this particular flowchart is very useful. So flowchart is also another way by expression when you are doing the quality. So flowchart gives that indication that where the quality is coming really poor, okay, you can then tackle that particular area. Now flowchart also is there in different processes. In textile processes are also there, like a kind of spinning process, that is yarn manufacturing process, and in that you can see that different processes or sequences are there. Now in this also, if you see that like if I take from a particular kind of fabric is getting produced, so if there is a problem in the fabric, really we will go into that and see the flowchart first, whether the flowchart, the proper sequence of the processes are followed or not. So those things will give us the indication, yes, the garment has not been produced in the right directions, proper flow is missing, one of the process may be omitted because of urgency, and that's why the defect has come into the garment and quality could not be achieved. So flowchart plays an important role into this. Now students, let us see the application of 7 QC charts in the apparel industry. Now applications are plenty. Now solve the problem in factory operations that I already discussed with you. Any kind of processes or product related issues that can be solved through these QC charts. Apparel industry, these 7 quality control tools are extensively used. It is not only in the apparel industry. If you go into the backward integration process, that is the spinning, weaving, processing, these areas are also there where these 7 QC charts or quality control tools are getting used, especially that quality control chart which has been used, or analysis if anybody wants to do, maybe the histogram is one of the important method, or a cause and effect diagram when you are doing certain meetings with your own people. So all these quality control activities or tools are really useful in the apparel industry to solve the problems in the factory operations. Okay, so this is one of the area by which yarn production related issues are there, then garment related issues are there, where these 7 quality control tools have been applied to it. Now when we are talking about application of certain tools and all these things in the apparel industry, we have to follow a particular procedure. You have to plan a quality program, then you have to execute that program, then after execution you have to you are running the program, study the program, then act on this. Okay, if there is a problem or any other things you need to improve, okay, and then you produce the material, quality products, and then when you are going for again the improvement, again you plan for the improvement, okay, again you execute, then you again see that whether it is going into the right directions or not, then you take a decisions on it, and then you further improve the process. So in this fashion, that's why you are telling that the benefits, that it is a continuous improvement process. So this continuous improvement can be achieved through 7 QC tools. So this program really is very useful quality improvement process. Okay, act, plan, do and study. So students, in this particular lesson of 7 QC tools, we have understood in a very simple way, means by using only the graph, charts, bar diagram, etc. we can really solve many important problems in the industry. We can really go into the detail of any kind of problems by analyzing those cause of this problem, by using certain statistical tool and getting the solution out of it. Use the cause and effect diagram out of it. Then we analyze where to take the action. When the production reaches a certain point or a quality reaches some threshold point, so we have to take an action on it. So when to take that action? Those kind of things are really, you can understand if you really apply these 7 QC tools. One of the major advantage of these 7 QC tools also is that many you see that uneducated people also who are working in the garment industries, they can really also apply this by plotting a simple graph, and they can analyze by themselves by using these tools that whether the production or the product are going on in the right direction or not. So normal statistics, that's why it is little different from the normal statistics. It is very easy statistics by which these garment industries are getting benefited out of it by 7 QC tools. So students, we have understood here in this particular lesson, that's why the importance of it, why these 7 QC tools are important for our industry. Then we have seen the different benefits of this particular 7 QC tools. After that, we have seen that different tools and how to apply those tools, and what are the different graphs can be drawn from it, and what are the different areas we can look into it, and how to solve the problems by using that. There are various ways and means are there wherein these 7 quality tools or the quality controls can be really effective in the industry, and if we apply this, really we will get benefit of getting a good quality garment. And if you produce, as we have already mentioned, if you produce a good quality garment, you really can satisfy the customer in a better way, and of course your profit margin will increase into that. Customers' confidence will increase, so also the teamwork inside the factory will increase. So these are all the benefits which are associated with 7 quality control tools, their applications and their interpretations. So thank you students for attending this class, and we will come with another chapter in the next class. Thank you very much.